Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Garden Profiler. Today we're getting our store-bought Ranunculus and Anemones Corms ready for planting. And I hope that you will agree with me when I say that these show-stopping blooms are worth the advanced prep. Ranunculus and anemones grow from little corms, not seeds. Ranunculus corms look like tiny octopuses, and anemones resemble hard little nuggets. These corms are dry when you get them from the store, and they need a bit of TLC before you could plant them out. First, we're going to start with soaking the corms. Place your corms in a bowl with room temperature water. Let them soak for about 3 to 4 hours. It is recommended that they soak no longer than 6. But life happens. My corms soaked for 24 hours and they were still okay. The soaking process is to wake them up and to start the growth process. For extra success, change the water halfway through to keep things fresh and oxygenated. Another technique to keep your corms oxygenated is by using an air pump or an aerator. Here are the pros. Increases oxygen levels. Constant bubbling keeps the water oxygen rich, preventing rot and promoting healthier corms. It reduces the risk of fungal growth because movement discourages stagnant water conditions where mold thrives. Provides a more even hydration. Gentle agitation helps all corms absorb the water evenly. Now that you've heard the pros, here are the cons to using an air pump to aerate your ranunculus corms. Extra equipment needed. It requires air pump tubing and an air stone, which is a lot more setup than simply soaking it in a bowl, like I did earlier. Not always necessary. Like for short soaks, which are 3 to 4 hours, the benefit may be minimal unless you're soaking a large batch. Risk of over-soaking. If left too long, even with aeration, corms can become mushy or begin sprouting too early. So what's the verdict using the air pump or the aerator? Well, it's ideal for serious gardeners prepping large batches in humid environments prone to mold. But for small quick soaks, it can be helpful, but it's really not necessary. Here's an optional tip. Some gardeners add a bit of seaweed extract or compost tea to the water to boost root health and prevent mold. But this is optional. I didn't do that and I got good results. But it's a nice touch. This is what a dried ranunculus and pre-soaked ranunculus corm looks like. The dried ranunculus is closer to my fingers and the pre-soaked one looks juicy and plump. And in this clip I'm showing you a dried and pre-soaked anemone corm. The pre-soaked anemone corm are resting on my fingers and the dry one is in the center of my palm. Do you see the difference? At this point, you can go ahead and plant them outdoors directly into the soil, depending on where you live. If you're planting your ranunculus from soaked corms, be sure to plant them with the claws facing downwards, about 2 inches deep and 4 to 6 inches apart. Now when it comes to the anemones, plant with the flat side down, about 1 to 2 inches deep and 2 to 3 inches apart. But because I won't be able to plant anything outdoors yet, not until my last frost, which is sometime in May, I'm going to take the optional route of pre-sprouting, which should give me a head start. So here are the steps to pre-sprout your corms. So first, line a shallow tray or container with damp potting mix or paper towels and spread your corms out in a single layer. Then cover them lightly with more damp mix. Cover the container with a lid or plastic wrap, but leave a small gap for air. Then place the tray in a cool, dark place like a garage or basement, around 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. Here I'm just looking for the flat side of the anemone corms, which could be a little tricky. Remember, the flat side of the anemone corms faces the soil, goes into the soil, in other words. Like this one is an awkward shape. Just put the flat side, wherever you think the flat side is, put that into the soil. I'm just going to continue planting all the blue and pink corms, trying my best to put the flat side down. Don't forget to date and label your trays as you go along. Here I'm using a light layer of vermiculite because vermiculite holds water like a sponge and it keeps the top layer moist without becoming soggy. It's ideal for delicate germinating seeds and pre-sprouting corms. But vermiculite is optional. If you don't have vermiculite, just use some damp potting soil, a light layer of damp potting soil to cover your corms. So this is the ranunculus 7 to 10 days later. If you look at my potting mix, you could see no fungus or moss growing, and that is in part because of the vermiculite I used. And these are the anemones. Once you could see white sprouts, they're ready to go, but I will still leave them a little longer. And this is some ranunculus I did weeks earlier, like 2 weeks earlier, growing nicely. I'm going to plant them directly into pots, so it's okay for me to let them grow like this, to grow on like this, because they're going to go directly into pots. Let's see what the root system looks like. I'm just going to pull one up gently, or as gently as I can, to show you what the root system, what the corm looked like. So these are beautiful roots all coming from the claw-like corms. It's beautiful. So now I'm just going to plant them directly into pots. There's another one. Good rooting system. I'm choosing pots that are at least 6 to 8 inches deep with good drainage. You can add a layer of gravel or broken pottery at the bottom of your pot to help with airflow, followed by a high quality potting mix to plant out your ranunculus and your anemones. Once you are finished getting all your sprouted corms into pots, keep your containers in a cool but frost-free spot and enclose porch, a cold frame, or under grow lights indoors. Don't let the soil dry out completely, but don't overwater either. Here I'm just showing you an AI generated image of what will be awaiting you in the spring and summer months. I think all the prepping that we did, the pre-sprouting, the soaking, I think it's all worth it. I'm planting my ranunculus in pots this year because ranunculus doesn't survive our Canadian winters in ground. Plus, I don't have to dig deep in the fall. I can simply leave the corms from the pots to save them for next year's planting. Before you leave, let me show you what the anemones look like 3 weeks in. Very overgrown, but that's just how I like them. Because my growing season is so short, I need as much of a head start as I could get. So thank you for spending time with me here at the Garden Profiler. And I hope you were inspired to try growing anemones and ranunculus. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and help me grow this channel. And also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one.